In a small, quiet town, there was a philosophy professor who loved teaching in unusual ways. One day, he decided to visit the local primary school to share a special lesson with the young students. The children were used to regular classes, but today would be different. He walked into the classroom carrying a big empty glass jar, which instantly caught the kids' attention. They knew something exciting was about to happen. With a smile, the professor placed the jar on the table and pulled out a pile of large stones from a bag under the table. Each stone was about the size of a child's fist. Slowly and carefully, he put the stones into the jar, filling it up until no more could fit. Turning to the curious students, he asked, "Is the jar full?" The children, seeing the stones fill the jar to the top, nodded eagerly and said, "Yes." But the professor wasn't finished. He took out a bag of small pebbles and poured them into the jar. The pebbles trickled into the spaces between the large stones. He shook the jar gently, letting the pebbles settle in. Then he asked again, "Is the jar full now?" Some students hesitated, but most of them said yes. Smiling, the professor reached for a bag of sand. He poured the fine grains into the jar. The sand flowed into the gaps between the pebbles and stones, filling every tiny space. He asked once more, "Is the jar full now?" The children, now catching on, replied, "Probably not." Finally, the professor brought out a jug of water. He slowly poured it into the jar, soaking the sand and filling it up completely. "Now," he said, "the jar is truly full." The room was quiet as the children stared at the full jar. The professor began to explain. "This jar represents your life," he said. "The big stones are the most important things, your family, your health, and your friends. They are what truly matter. Even if everything else is gone, if you still have these, your life will feel full. The pebbles are other things that matter, like your job, your home, and your hobbies. They're important, but not as crucial as the big stones. The sand is all the small stuff, the everyday tasks and little details. If you fill your life with sand first, there's no room for the big stones." He continued, "If you spend all your time on the small things, you won't have space for what's really important. Always put the big stones in first. Take care of your family, your health, and your passions. These are the foundations of a happy and meaningful life." A young girl in the class raised her hand and asked, "What about the water? What does that mean?" The professor smiled and replied, "The water shows that no matter how full your life feels, there's always room for small moments of joy and connection. It could be a cup of coffee with a friend, a laugh, or a peaceful walk. These are the little things that make life richer." In our busy lives, he added, we often get caught up in the small stuff, the sand and pebbles. But remember, the jar has limited space. If we focus only on the small stuff, we won't have room for the big stones. So always put the most important things first. The professor's lesson was clear. Live your life by making space for what matters most. Let the big stones guide you. The pebbles and sand will find their places around them. And always remember, there's room for the water, the unexpected joys that come your way. As he finished, the classroom was filled with a thoughtful silence. The children understood the simple but powerful message. In life, it's not about fitting in everything, but about choosing what's most important. Prioritize your big stones, enjoy the small moments, and live a balanced, fulfilling life.